I want to show you something really cool. Here it is. It's a dragon. You know why I wanted to show you this? Because I love dragons. I love dragons so much. They've got to be one of the coolest things ever. Like, where did they come from? How did they ever come into our existence? Like, yeah, of course, like, dragons don't exist, right? They exist. Of course they exist. Like, maybe not in the physical reality that we know, maybe not in the world, but they exist in the imagination. Is that not enough? Like, dragons exist. Like, seriously, a lot of dragon depictions are really brutal. Like, they depict dragons as beasts, you know, as monsters, and as, like, you know, they hoard gold and, you know, Smaug, for example, and, like, that's Tolkien's like, kind of depiction of dragons, you know, beasts, and, like, they're almost like demons in Tolkien's mythology. Like, if you read the Silmarillion, you know, the dragons in it, and Celegon. Farah, I read the Silmarillion last year, but it's struggling to, like, maintain in my memory. And Celegon the Black, and Glaurung is another one. And yeah, they're monsters and demons and beasts, right? But I actually much prefer the Eastern understanding of dragons as this kind of mystical being. I just, for me, that's almost like how a dragon should be. This is just how it is in my imagination. Dragons should be mythical, magical, like, mysterious, wise. You know, they're like wise masters. Like, a great example is Avatar: The Last Airbender. When Farah, I watched it a while ago, 5 years ago or something. But that scene when Zuko goes to visit the dragon, bro. Oh my god! See, that's dragons right there. Like, that's how dragons should be. I think. If I'm messing something up here, like, my memory is not serving me tonight. But anyway, dragons are epic, and I think that, like, they should be depicted more as, like, mystical creatures, because they're so epic. And that's why I got this dragon. This dragon, he kind of looks a little bit evil, right? He looks evil. He's got the scar hair. He looks dangerous. And I mean, yeah, dragons are dangerous, but the reason why I love the depiction of dragons as these, like, wise, noble, dignified beings is because they have so much power, but they can, like, they know when and when not to execute that power, exercise that power, if that makes sense. Like, they possess the highest power. They can destroy anything, but they actually have the restraint. And I just love this idea of, like a dragon high society. Like, I've got this story idea. I think Brandon Sanderson also has this story idea. Of course he does, because if you're someone like me, if you have, like, fantasy ideas, like, you come up with this fantasy idea, and you're like, then you watch a video of Brandon Sanderson explaining exactly your fantasy idea, and you're like, bro, what? Oh, the dragon. And you're like, bro, how does he get all of the ideas? He's like a conduit of all of the fantasy ideas. You know why that's the case? It's because he actually writes them. It's like ideas come to him because he's the one that can produce them at a rate and actually express them at such a fast rate. Because, like, you know, people like you and me, we're not at that level of, like, writing and, like, expressing these ideas. And so, of course, we get less ideas than he does. He's an absolute conduit of fantasy ideas. Of course he is, because he produces them, you know? That's a wider rant on, like, fantasy in general. I really feel like you get a lot of these, like, fantasy nerds. Like, I'm a fantasy nerd, okay? And, like, a lot of us, I fall into this category as well, where you just, like, you sit there and world build, or you come up with this idea, you entertain an idea, and it's, your imagination is on fire, you're thinking of all this idea, and you're like, that's so cool, I love it, that's epic, but then you don't do anything with it. Trust me, I know this. I've got so many ideas that I don't do anything with, and so, of course, the ideas would go to the person who can actually write them and share them. Isn't that the purpose of an idea, is to be, like, shared, and I guess explored as well? Like, we're exploring them in our own imagination, but these ideas can benefit others, so we need to share them. Anyway, that's a rant. I didn't expect to go on a rant like this talking about dragons, but I mean, of course that would happen. I'm talking about fucking dragons. Dragons are sick. Yeah, anyway, I was talking about how I have this idea of like a dragon high society where it's like the dragons are kind of like humans, where like there's like a moral code that they have to follow, but they all have the power anyway, but a lot of them can't use that power, and they like descend into different worlds. It's kind of like this heavenly realm of dragons called Skybwen, and like the dragons descend into different realms, but a lot of them don't have a good moral conduct, and they abuse their powers and they abuse their magic. But the ones that can like exercise that self-restraint, they achieve like the enlightenment for dragons. Can you even imagine what that would be? Well, I haven't thought much about this idea. This is just an idea that's been kind of like floating around in my imagination for some time. But one of my ideas is like in this kind of like this universe is like there is this realm, there is this planet where you've got like monkey people, and you've got like humans, and you've got fae, and you've got like kind of like wood elves, like forest elves, and then you've got kind of like the sons of giants. So you've got like 5 main races, and each of these races has a dragon guardian that is lying dormant, waiting to actually protect those people. And these dragon guardians are kind of like the enlightened dragons, and they went down to this planet to slumber, or maybe they were cast into that slumber or something, and they have to be like, they're kind of like the gods. They're like the ancient demigods that came down to this planet to like help like give civilization and give like morality and order and law and like knowledge and wisdom to these races, while they were like building up. And then they went into slumber. But over the years, these gods, right, these mythical beings, the dragons, they were forgotten, and over time they got ridiculed. Like, people didn't believe them. People didn't believe in the dragons. People didn't believe in the ancient guardians, the ancient protectors who would come back in the time of need, right? This is a bit of a tropey idea, but I don't care, because it's like, I don't know, it's just an idea I've developed. It's called the Heroes of Talari, and basically like the doomsday comes, and like the hell realm, where the evilest dragon of them all is unleashed or whatever, and all of his minions are unleashed, and there is one hero that basically creates this like epic hammer, and he why am I talking about this? I guess it's because I started this video with a dragon, so of course I'd end up talking about my story idea with dragons in it. But basically the dragons are epic, legendary heroes, and they save the day kind of thing. Not really. No, they don't save the day. You know what? I'll save the story for another time. You'll have to, once I write the book, and you'll actually have to read the book if you want the full story. That's a teaser. I'm just gonna leave this here. And if you happen to find your way to the end of this video, cool. Thanks for watching, I guess. I mean, this is a channel, this is literally called Josh's Stories. So, of course, I'm going to talk about my fantasy stories. Like, it's a channel to share the stories I have in real life. But, of course, I'd end up talking about my fantasy stories. So, this is actually the first time I've done that. So, yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching. Good luck, and I'll see ya.